What's going on? This is Jailus for the Nick of Time show. Here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about the Damian Dotson revenge game. Knicks versus the Cavs. Lots of good, lots of bad, but we're going to talk about it. All right? And today I have with me young prodigy in the making. You seen him on last year's show talking about the Knicks offense. Is a pretty good underrated episode, if I must say so myself. Gotta check it out. It's my guy, Dallas, writer from the Strictland. What's going on, Dallas?
Having a good time. Thanks for having me on. It's always a blast to listen to you guys, and it's always an honor to pop on.
Exactly. We're gonna have you on a lot more this year, man. A lot more. Trust me. Big plans. You know. But yeah, we gotta talk about it, man. The Knicks lost to the Cavs 106-103. This is a game that many of us thought that we could win because the Cavs were shorthanded. No Sexton. Sexland is gone. No Darius Garland. All they had was Andre Drummond, a Nance, and the other cast of characters, man. Tell me what you saw out there in this Knicks versus Cavs game.
Oh man. Yeah, where do you want to start? Do you want to start by talking about like individual players, the whole game?
You know what? Let's talk about the end, right? I'm gonna work our way to the end.
Okay.
And then go backwards. Okay. Because the Knicks were in this game, but there was a lot of errors that happened towards the end. I feel like threw this game away. One of them being, the clear path foul from Julius Randle at the end was a costly one.
But that only happened because of a missed kicked ball violation right before. Andre Drummond his foot kicked the ball.
That's true. That is true. It was a missed violation, and depending on how you feel about it, if you're Knicks fans frustrated with RJ Barrett, you're going, why the hell would you try that between the leg move when you know your handles ain't right? That's what some Knicks fans are saying.
Yeah.
But you are right. It was a kick ball. But I always wondered about that rule because I thought a kick ball is if you intentionally kick it. But RJ kind of dribbled it on his foot, so I wasn't really sure how to even view that non-call,
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually don't know the exact rule.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking it up.
But yeah, so it seemed like the poise wasn't there for the Knicks. That was the Reggie Bullock steal, which could have sold the game for us, didn't go well as well.
Man, he made such a great play, and then yeah.
Listen, the Knicks had this game in the bag. We were shorthanded. I do feel like we're still a young team in certain respects, but also in certain respects we had our veterans in, so you expected a little bit more towards the end. So it was a little disappointing to lose that game. But on the other side of things, listen, I still feel like we've overperformed in the beginning of the season, and we're coming down to earth a little bit. So people's expectations are a little bit high. So if you're expecting a polished team to be able to close out games with precision, at this point of the season, you're probably going to be disappointed more times than not.
Yeah, that's right. And we're also shorthanded still. Burks especially. Rivers is important to get back,
right?
But Burks especially, because I think he can bump. Somebody needs to bump Elfrid Payton out of the starting lineup. And I think Burks is a possible candidate. He could also, maybe take Reggie Bullock's part. But we're shorthanded with some key guys. Rivers is just getting back. Noel and Mitch have been beat up at different points.
Mm-hmm.
Toppin is back. I don't really expect Toppin to be much of a plus this year. Just like typical rookie stuff,
Right.
But still, we've clearly been shorthanded for quite a while on the front line. Especially Frank is out, and he'll really, really shore up the defense, I think, when he comes back. So there's room for growth. I agree with you that we were overperforming expectations at the beginning by a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's I think there's some in-game strategic stuff we can do to be a little bit better still. But then there's some players that once they come back, I think they will boost the team a little bit, boost our performance.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna pause on that in-game strategic stuff. I'm gonna recap the game, and I'm gonna roll right back to this in-game strategic stuff because I know that's what you do. You do the in-game strategic guy. So we're gonna talk about that later, right? But I want to get into this conversation you kind of touched on. Is I think every Knicks fan is on the same page now, which is Elfrid Payton must not start for the New York Knicks anymore. I was gonna try to leave this conversation for another part, but it's so triggered because I've been talking about it every recap so far, but it's just painfully obvious, and even the game I've been touting Emmanuel Quickley. I think after like 2 preseason games, I was like, start the kid. Start him. I know it just started him. And then the more the season weighs on, you see what Elfrid Payton is not doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's not shifting the defense because he's too ball dominant. He doesn't pass. He had a 0 assist game the other day. Damian Dotson played better point guard than Elfrid Payton. He actually had, I think, 4 assists the last game to Elfrid Payton 0. Just for perspective.
Don't write off Larry Nance, who played point guard for a sec too. He might have outperformed Elfrid Payton in his minutes at the point. I saw some Drummond point guard around the back kind of stuff.
Drummond.
He might be a better point guard than Elfrid Payton.
Drummond at center, if you watch the game, knew enough to drive and pass it to an open teammate.
I know, man.
Drummond. Elfrid Payton, look at tapes of Andre Drummond playing point guard and get some ideas. Please.
Yeah. Drummond has really grown as a passer. I mean, early in his career, he had none of that. But now, I mean, also, I was super impressed with his body control. Man, the dude is huge.
Yeah, he's
like some ballerina feet for his size. He's pretty quick, nimble. And the passing is really impressive given where he started out.
Exactly. I gave Mitch all sorts of problems. But I want to hear this.
I was just going to say, like, strategically last night, Thibs, so ordinarily, Mitch plays like pretty straightforward drop coverage.
Yeah.
But not last night. He was, ordinarily you're like really stopping penetration, especially because he's playing with Elfrid Payton, who's just like, here's the rim.
Right.
So usually Mitch is having to do that, but I think the combination of playing Drummond, who's a phenomenal role man, and them not really having any of their guards who could really penetrate. Tibbs basically had Mitch hugging Drummond, really even on like pick and rolls, not really offering help on the penetration or very little, and just sticking right on Drummond. Now he's still getting bodied at times,
right?
But I liked it from a strategic, point of view.
You know what though? I kind of feel like it bit him in the ass some because I get, not having to drop to recover on the point guards, but it seemed like at sometimes he was playing up on Drummond so much that Drummond was able to blow by him multiple times.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. He was there were multiple times where he was coming almost up to the 3-point line.
Right.
Where it's like, fine, don't help off on the penetration, like trust your point of attack defenders to handle that. But you don't have to guard Drummond all the way out there. Like,
exactly.
Go back in the paint and you'll be good.
Exactly. Because the jumper, he's it's not really there for him like that, where you have to just hug up on him like that. So I feel like that was a tactical error on Tibbs or Mitch or combination.
Yeah.
Outside of the pick and roll, so rough night for Mitchell Robinson. I listen, he's had a phenomenal season. I'm not going to bag on the dude. When I say phenomenal, I just mean to the point where, he's just grown as a player, setting better picks. The rebounding, I still want to see more defensive rebounding, but the rebounding's gotten better. Go ahead.
Well, what I loved last night on that specific note is, and part of it was a little easier for Mitch maybe because he was hugging Drummond, but he was, especially like rewatch that first quarter, he was boxing out, putting his body on Drummond every single time. Now there's going to be a lot of you remember Knick legend Robin Lopez, and the dude was a phenomenal rebounder who never got any rebounds.
Yeah,
right?
he just padded KP stats. I remember that. Robin Lopez used to box out, let KP come in and get the rebound. And all of a sudden, we're like, ooh, KP is getting 10 rebounds. No, Robin Lopez did all the work for him, and he just cakewalked.
That's right. So Mitch, like last night, I didn't actually see how many rebounds he got, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was pretty low. But he was keeping Drummond, at least in that first quarter, off the offensive glass, pretty impressively to me. He was like getting his body into him, and so just the contact parts of the game, which he's struggled with, setting good screens like you just mentioned, and boxing guys out this year. Man, lots of growth.
Right, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the Knicks still lost the rebounding battle. I think it was like 48. It was bad too. 48-39. In general, our defense, I feel like we lost a lot of our defense with rebounding, mostly. I feel like, and second chance points as well, 18-7. So
go ahead. Sorry. Oh
no, go ahead.
You know what kills me about that? We don't. So there's a balance, and every coach that you talk to, is going to emphasize a little bit different. Whether you're trying to prevent offensive rebounds, like really crash the defensive glass, or get out in transition. Well, the Knicks are pretty clearly focusing on, especially with the starting unit, crashing the glass, because they, you can just watch it on the film, but also look at the stats. I mean, they're dead last in fast break points. Yeah. Dead last in the league. And that's while being a pretty much, I think they're like 23rd in steals and like 15th in blocks or something like that. So they're like a middle of the road defensive creating defensive events kind of team.
Right.
So you combine that with the fact that they are crashing the glass hard. It's brutal. That's almost embarrassing. It's real bad.
Yeah.
That's the worst sort of thing going on, I think, with the team right.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. We've had a few 0 fast break games too, which just doesn't make anything worse. And for a team who's not really creating on half court sets that easily, you really need those fast break points to kind of offset everything that's happening out there. But
yeah. Every single time down, we're facing a set defense, pretty much.
Yep.
No, and even we're not even getting. It's tough because we don't have anybody who can like shoot pull-ups. Like. So when
are you sure about that?
Well, when Burks comes back, Quickley. Is that who you're thinking of?
I mean, you know what? His pull-ups aren't that. He's not on some Alec Burks level, but his head fake and go kind of creates opportunities. I'll say that. That's right.
But I think when Burks comes back, you can do some of those drag screens early in early offense sort of transition kind of things and get pull-ups and just having somebody with gravity like that who can force, now with Mitch's screens being a little bit better, who can force the big to come up and have to help on the pull-up three.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Mitch with someone who has gravity like that, who can pull the big. Mitch as a roll man, oh my God, just throw that ball up.
You know what? Let's just explore this because I'm saying put Quickley in and maybe put Alec Burks in Reggie Bullock's spot. That's what I'm thinking. Are you thinking put Alex Burks in as a point guard? Is that what you're saying? Let's pause for a second. This episode was brought to you by Manscaped. All right, fellas, Valentine's Day is on the way. You want to make sure down there is clean, fair, and square. Manscaped Trimmer 2.0. It does not nick your knickers. It doesn't grab your hairs. It has an LED light so you can see what's going on down there. It's waterproof and is guaranteed to make your lady happy. All right, so definitely pick up the Trimmer 2.0. And also my personal recommendation, and Ryan backs me up, the ball deodorant.
Exactly. I've been using the ball deodorant since even before this whole sponsorship, I've been using the ball deodorant. It works great. It works well. The ladies, if that moment comes, the ladies go down there and they're satisfied. It smells nice and good. So go get you some.
Go get you some. All right.
Yeah.
Man, go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code KOT. All right. That is 20% off and free shipping with code KOT if you go to manscaped.com. And you know what? If you trim down there, send all before and after pictures to Ryan's Gmail account at Ryan. Okay,
No.
All right, never mind. KOT, that is the code.
Yeah, it's a good question. So a lot of it is like, so Quickley, I love what Quickley's been doing. I'm very impressed, very happy with it. The one thing I just never know about is like development stuff. Like how much does it, well, first of all, there's a question like which guys can handle it and which guys will it be good for to sort of throw in the deep end. So like Kevin Knox, we threw him in the deep end year one. I think it was a horrible thing for his development. Like we really screwed up doing that, right? Like we asked him to do too much. It killed his confidence. He was horribly inefficient and he sucked butt and he didn't learn anything because he had too many things to focus on. And he wasn't able to, like this year he's made steps, but the reason why is because he's asked to do like 2 things on offense and very basic things on defense. And he's able to learn because he's able to repeatedly do them over and over and over and over. And he's not asked to do too much. Okay. And so he's growing. And then once he gets those skills down, you can ask him to do something new. Mm-hmm. Now, some guys like come into the league and they are just capable of handling a lot, right? Like John Morant, right? Like you throw him on the court and even though he wasn't that efficient his first year or whatever, he could, he had a high enough skill set. Does Quickley have that? It's also different, playing against, I think he has the confidence, but playing against first unit defenses, that's going to be a little bit harder.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't know him well enough. But that's the question that I'd be thinking about. I'm not so much worried about like, I'm with you that him as the point and Burks as the 2 with RJ, the 3 and Randall and Mitch, that will make the offense.
Spacing? What?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's the spacing, the gravity between Alec Burks having to shoot and them have to account for him, between them respecting Quickley shot and him breaking down the defense off his head fakes, and it's gonna be a lot to deal with. It's
funny because that's only 2 shooters.
It's only 2.
We're like, oh my God, if the Knicks have
2 shooters on the team, wow, modern. No, it's still not even modern NBA really. It's really not.
Some teams got 5 shooters on the court at the same time.
Seriously, man. Seriously.
A man can dream.
A man can dream. But I know, my counter would be, I think, I do agree with you. Like the defense of Quickley so far is still like a thing. He's out of position sometimes on the defensive end. And just the fact that he's not like a big guard. He's not a big guard. So you saw the last game, right? Because there was a part in the game where, well, first of all, I'll say this. When Quickley got into the game at the 4-minute mark in the first quarter, you automatically saw the difference in the team, right? The ball movement was way better. The whole team just passed better. The defenses weren't sitting in the paint more. Everything opened up. And the Knicks ended up taking the lead, right? Second quarter, they took out the second unit because the second unit, they outscored the Cavs. Second unit, I think it was like 24. They had, I think it was like 24-11. Let me double check those stats. But I will say they changed the whole complexion, right? But you also see in I believe the third quarter or so, they started to pick on Quickley on the defensive end, and I feel like that's when the Cavs started to make a little bit of a run. It was like no matter where Quickley was, whoever had the ball, there was ISOing Quickley. And then the Knicks ended up having to try to double the help, and it created open shots. So I can see both sides of what you're saying. Is he going to be able to handle it on the defensive end full time? I'm not sure. That might be work in progress. But I just know for me, when I'm looking at Elfrid Payton's turnstile defense, non-existent offense, crazy step backs, 0 assist games, ignoring people in the corner. It's just too many negatives for me. Even when Elfrid Payton is going to the hole and making his drives, it's just too many negatives for me. And as far as Alec Burks being a point guard, I just don't. You know what? I like him as a situational point guard because I've seen what he did last year. But to me, long term, it's more worth it to have Quickley here being the point guard over Alec Burks.
Yeah. Long term, that's what you want. I think Quickley is the sort of guy you can really can be that. I mean, it's early, but like that sort of like if you have a big primary initiator,
right?
You have a Doncic or a Giannis or something like that. That kind of guy who initiates your offense, having Quickley as a secondary off the ball who can really space the floor like nobody's business, just knockdown shooter, and then is able to run secondary pick and rolls, get into the lane a little bit. That's the sort of, that's the paradigm that you want,
Right.
Think better version of LeBron, Mario Chalmers in those Heat years or something like that, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Or like Derek Fisher kind of had some of that going on.
But he's like a little bit more. He can create more than Derek Fisher and those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like he's not a pure, I'm gonna break down the defense off my dribble type of guy, but he's not. He's like a 1.5. He's not the I'm gonna just spot up shoot either.
Right.
He's somewhere in between where he can still command something. He can still, I don't know. He can call the pick over and make something happen.
But as long as you have another initiator, I think he could be that guy on a good team.
Absolutely.
In the future.
Absolutely. I guess for now, to me, he's the best option at point guard for me for now.
He's for sure the best option.
Right.
I'm 1,000% with you on that.
Absolutely. And to go back to the stats, fast break points, Knicks bench points 24-6. That we actually won that. We got 24. Oh. Yeah, I know. Look, yeah.
Fast break points?
Fast break points. I mean bench points. Bench points.
Bench points. I was like fast break points.
Bench points.
Like I remember a few fast breaks, but that would be like
bench points 24-6, which kind of brings me to another area of contention from last night's game. Tom Thibodeau's coaching.
Okay, my least favorite thing about the whole night: Mitchell Robinson staying in after getting injured. Dude could not get up, and then limps down the court. On the free throw, there's a foul was called on Drummond, or somebody fouled Drummond, so he had the perfect opportunity to sub him out. Like at least double check, triple check. This dude is like, in my view, Mitchell Robinson right now is our best prospect. I think he, I like RJ a lot. I have questions about him still. I have hopes, but Mitch is I feel very strongly that Mitch is going to be a high value player in the NBA. And you can't just throw your best asset out there in a season where come on. Even if we let's say we make the playoffs, right? The play-in game or something like that, which that's still pretty, we're pushing it. But let's say that happens. We're not gonna go anywhere. This is not the year, no matter what, right? I don't want to see him doing everything to win these roughly meaningless games. It matters to us when we're watching. We want to win
in the moment.
And I get him being in the moment too, right? Because it's really tough to take that long view when you're
you have to.
But come on, it's Mitch.
Yeah.
And then he kept limping for the next several minutes. And he just, the rest of the game, he did not look himself. I'm like,
no, I didn't.
And I don't care if you have to play, Theo Pinson for 25 minutes.
Noel did it right, man. He stepped up. He had 6 blocks that game. He was part of the reason why we even got back into the game in that third quarter once Elfrid Payton was out. And Quickley came in. Kevin Knox came in. Noel came in. Back-to-back blocks. Knicks were off to the races. We ended up, taking over. But I'm with you on the Tom Thibodeau thing, man. I'm with you on it. Tom likes to win so much that he just does it at all costs. He's that guy. If you're playing video games with him and you're beating him every game, he's gonna be one more time. One more.
1,000%. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And that guy is also me. I'm just letting you know. I'm also that one more time guy. I'm not a gloater, but I don't like to lose either. But
it's a great quality.
Come on.
But maybe it's a better quality when you have a really good team and are pushing for like a championship or something.
Facts.
And maybe not when you have young guys that you want to preserve for a future championship run, hopefully.
Exactly. Exactly. I guess my problem with Tom, right, as of now, is he's doing good as a coach. He's developed these guys. You can see these guys getting better game to game. At least the youth are. But I think he leans on the veterans a little bit too much, and he doesn't seem like he trusts anybody outside of, who he put in charge in front of his face at that time. Like, I'm not sure if he trusts what he sees that's happening in real time and only trusts what he's known of people before they got here. So it's like, the best part of last night's game was the minutes to me, Emmanuel Quickley played more minutes than Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton only played 20 minutes, and Emmanuel Quickley played 27. Best part of the night for me. Worst parts of the night, Kevin Knox maybe didn't play as much as I wanted to. Well, he's been shooting in the 40s from 3-point. Like maybe that should change. Like in general, I just want him to adapt to the game better. Like the fast rate, the bench points, right? 24-6. That could have been a lot higher. The Knicks were rolling. In that second quarter. We got the lead back, and then he killed the momentum when he took out all the bench players to put the starters back in. The lead evaporated again. I feel like he killed the momentum, and I think he needs to ride the momentum of the young guys more when they're playing well, especially considering how many minutes the starting unit has played already. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, there's that. And then it's also, like a lot of the explanation for why that second unit does well is that it's just a lineup that makes sense.
Yeah.
The first unit does not make sense at all. Not even a little. You have legitimately, with the way Reggie Bullock is shooting, he still has some gravity. Guys are going over screens on him, but you've got basically 5 non-shooters on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't make any intuitive sense. But then that second unit, you've got
all spacers.
You got floor spacers. You've got some guys who can legitimately penetrate a little bit. With Rivers, he's got really quick first step. And then Quickley, who's doing excellently. You have a shot blocker at the right. They're a little on defense, but it's like the lineup isn't like it intuitively makes sense. Where that first unit, it's like, man, this is just not. If you're like thinking of how to put a lineup together, and you're like, what would I like if I could just have any roles I wanted? Which roles would I put on the court? And not even like think of who the players are. This is like the very last one in the entire deck. Where you're like,
absolutely.
Five non-shooters where the one does not relocate or make quick decisions, where he can't shoot worth shit, where the 4 can't shoot. He's your best. It's just, it's a whole
cluster. It's a whole cluster. I think
it's terrible for RJ and Mitch. It's bad for both of them.
It's terrible for everybody involved. It's terrible for everybody involved.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But somehow Randall is still.
Despite that, my guy still had 28 points that game. 28.6 rebounds, 6 assists. Has been having a good season so far. Even though it seems like he's starting to taper a little bit, but even his taper is not really tapering. He's still 28.6 rebounds, 6 assists. And I keep saying this. Imagine if he actually had people to pass to who can shoot. I feel like that assist number will go way up. It'll be like steady at 7. Right now, I think he's at 7 or 6.9. But I feel like it can threaten to be 8.
Easy. And just imagine if, even more so, is the space he'll have as a result. Like right now, teams are happy to double him because what do you want it? Literally, the only consequence is when RJ cuts.
Yeah, when RJ cuts, which he hasn't been doing as much lately. He
But-
came
but
into
when
the
he
league
cuts-
doing that.
Yeah. But when he cuts, there's some chance of, but even so, you already have, if you're helping on Randall, you're doubling him. And you're probably helping down into the paint off like Elfrid Payton. So like you already have the paint clogged. So even if he does cut, it's not like he's gonna have an easy layup. Right?
Exactly.
So you're not giving up anything by doubling him.
Yeah.
And the poor dude is like, I mean, still the fact that he's performing the way he is, it's just.
Yeah, which is, and you know, and I'll talk about RJ this right now too, because RJ Barrett had 20 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, and I think part of the reason why is he was hitting that corner 3, you know, he was hitting that corner 3 because, like you said, you know, I've seen games when Randall passes out to the corner after being doubled, and the team just recovers. You know, usually the double. You're supposed to create an offensive advantage when you have a double. And he's being doubled. He's doing the right basketball plays, kicking the ball out, and he's either kicking out to Peyton, who misses it, kicking out to RJ, who misses it, or kicking out to Reggie Bullock, who doesn't make a quick enough decision all the time. Sometimes he does.
I like Reggie's decision making, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's Elfrid. Elfrid, he'll catch the ball wide open in the corner, and then he'll just sit there and he could swing the ball, he could attack the open floor because there's nobody on him. And what he'll do is he'll put the ball on the floor and dribble like just back and forth.
And the defense resets. Yeah.
Exactly. And then he waits for Randall to come and set a screen for him or something. He's like, well, now you got to try to create a new advantage. You already had one, man.
Exactly.
RJ at least will shoot the 3. And then Reggie makes quick decisions. I don't think they're always I don't know. I like Reggie as a decision maker.
Yeah. I do sometimes. Maybe it's because the shooting isn't going like I want it to. That I'm frustrated when he doesn't shoot it and he holds it and the resets. Maybe that's what it is for me. But he doesn't make bad decisions. Well, except when the game is online, he seems to choke a lot. But for 3 quarters, he doesn't make bad decisions. But
man, he went from hero to GOAT real quick last night.
Yeah, for real quick. But I will say this: RJ Barrett, 20 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. I liked what I saw from RJ for the first time. Not for the first time, for a few games. It's something to be said because the Knicks haven't been practicing a lot, and they've been home lately. And I think the shots have been going up more at home. They have more time to practice, and I think that has a lot to do with why Quickley and RJ shooting has been a lot better. I was actually listening to somebody else's podcast. I think it was JJ Redick's podcast. And there's something to think about. They were talking about how your rhythm is thrown off because of this new COVID protocol. Where when you're in an away team, they have a process where they have to test you, right? And then you're not allowed to be on the court until you get your negative test back. And if you don't get your test back at a certain time, you're not allowed to like do your normal routine of warm-ups, shoot-arounds, and things of that nature. So not only are you not, shooting into 2 a.m. to get your shot right, if you're in away games, you're just going on the court like tight, no warm-ups, and hoping everything goes right. So something to think about thinking about going forward, looking to this season. To see if these guys are shooting better at home than away, just because they have more time to put up shots.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've heard or read somewhere that there's already a slight home bump because guys, like you're used to the backdrop kind of thing that you're shooting against, where like every other stadium is a little different. You got to sort of adjust what you're looking at, what you're looking for, your points of reference or whatever. But your home court, you shot so much on that court that you sort of have the depth perception, that sort of thing. And I think some people were talking about like in the bubble, why shooting was hot. They were suggesting it was because of like the smaller stadiums, like better backdrops and stuff for shooters, like better giant stadiums, which apparently you see in like NCAA stuff too. Like before the NCAA tournament, people shoot way better, and then you get in the tournament and they shoot worse. And the speculation is that it's because of you now in these
backdrop doesn't allow you to focus.
you're not used to.
Mm.
So I think there's already a home bump, but I'd be really interested to see if it got bigger. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
That's
shout out to
cool.
Reddit and those guys. Sometimes get that insight of actual NBA players. Like, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, man.
Well, what do you think about? So I'm gonna say this in general. There's people who are already out on RJ Barrett. I'm gonna keep saying it. Be a little bit patient, and I'm not saying he's gonna be a super duper all-star, but I think he's definitely gonna be a functional NBA player. He has a chance to be one. I'll say that he has a chance to be one. Not saying it's guaranteed. At least but and it all really depends on the shooting. As you can see yesterday, the shooting kind of, it made him look a whole lot better. Decision making will get better. I feel like all that stuff is gonna get better. He has a work ethic where all that stuff will get better. But I wouldn't be on the RJ's a bust game when he dropped 20 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, at 58% field goal precision. Just because he had a turnover in a weird time of the game. Like we've been on RJ for not hitting free throws, and he hit 4 clutch free throws. Been on him about not hitting his jump shots, and he's hit all the damn jump shots in a close game. So, still a young kid, was praising for that. Still be critical, but don't throw the baby with the bathwater type of thing,
Yeah. I'm totally on RJ's going to be a functional NBA player. I think he already is a functional NBA player. He's like you can imagine him being like, a 7th man or something on like a really excellent team this year. He's not like, now obviously you want him to eventually be better than that, but
right.
that's a functional NBA player. He'd be a good 7th man, like he's a solid defender, not a great defender, but he's improved on help defense a lot this year. And he's got just a ton of room for growth in my view. I don't know. I'd never try to predict shots because I don't know anything about it. It seems hard, real hard. Like some guys just take these shooting leaps and you're like, what the,
where did that come from? He's like, now you're just Jason Kidd hitting 3-pointers now. I mean, you didn't do it for like 6 years of your career. Okay, cool.
And then some guys just totally forget too. You're like, wait, what just happened? Like Giannis, he was shooting reasonably, not great, but then all of a sudden, then he had just what's happened now? I don't know. Like his free throws and shit. Anyways, so I don't try to predict. So I don't know what's gonna happen with his shot. But like as a finisher, I think he has a lot of room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's very accessible. He's strong enough that I think with like he has a lot of problems. So his biggest problem is that he can't elevate through contact.
Right. He tries to go through people most of the time.
Guys go through people because he just can't get up in close quarters. He doesn't have good 1-foot lift. He just doesn't. But he's big enough and strong enough that if his footwork improves, I really believe he could be an efficient finisher because he can get you even see it with like a classic case is like Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
Like that little dude is not that strong. I mean, he's strong, but he's little, right? Like he's not RJ strong by any means, but he was able to, and he cannot, Dragic, especially these later years, he doesn't have any lift, man. He's like, he barely get a sheet of paper under him, right?
Right.
But he's a great finisher. And the way he does it is he's got incredible footwork and he's so good at getting his shoulder into the defender, pushing them off balance, and then finishing when he doesn't have to worry about the block, right? And RJ hasn't quite, his footwork when he gets deep into the paint isn't quite there. Now, part of it is like he's running into multiple guys, multiple bodies in there.
I was about to say that, yeah.
But still, his footwork, he's got a lot of room for improvement there. And that's not like, to me, shots, I'm like, I don't know how to predict this, but like RJ's a hard worker.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get in the gym, and it surely takes a lot, but like guys learn footwork all the time. I have no doubt at all he can get that part down.
I think every time I think about RJ and his projection and is he going to be this or that, I always go, He's a hard worker. I bet my money on hard workers 9 times out of 10. You know, so every time I see something, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just bet on the character and go, all right. I feel like he'll at least be baseline this if he's made aware of the problem, because I know he's going to work on it. And I can see evidence of that even this year. As horrible as he's shooting, I just keep looking. He's just keep looking at the free throws. The free throws have gone up from last year. And I'm looking at the results of the last few games, you know, and I see it's on an uptick. And as far as your finishing thing goes too, I kind of wonder how agile he is because, you know, I think that's part of his problem too. Like, he has the body and the strength to go through people, but I'm not sure if he, I guess it goes hand in hand with footwork, you know? It goes hand in hand in footwork, how agile you are to kind of contort and get the right angles and right advantage. Putting your shoulder in front of people to finish through contact, you know?
Yeah. Another thing he does, and this might be related, I mean, I don't know, maybe not agility, but like, he doesn't have, it's like, well, it's like related there. Some of it's footwork, but some of it's just like he doesn't have a lot of natural shake or like.
Yeah, you know? What do you call that? The hip twitch? Or do you? I mean,
yeah. So his like when he drives, so much of it is he takes these like big rounded, like, you know, like he comes around a pick and roll and he's like,
oh, he's not tight. Yeah.
Yeah, he's taking country roads instead of taking like New York City or straight line. And part of it's because he can't get by his guy quickly, so they can force him off his line. Mm-hmm. Some of it's footwork too, and then some of it's just natural lack of shake, I think.
Good points. Good point. All right. Yeah. I think we covered everything that we can talk about with this game, unless I'm forgetting something.
I got one thing.
What you got?
So, all right. Tell me how this works. Okay, so Nerlens Noel literally has the worst hands I've ever seen on offense.
Yo,
I've never seen a man with worse hands. But wait.
Mitch is up there, but go ahead.
But on the other hand, I have never seen a man with better hands on defense. That dude's hands, he finds the ball no problem. Like, dude, his hand-eye coordination has to be incredibly elite, but he just totally loses it on the other. It doesn't make.
2 plays come to mind as soon as you say it. Basic. Who passed him the ball when we was at half court? We were taking the ball out of half court, and Nerlens Noel was like right in front of the inbounder. The inbounder passes the ball, and he bobbles it. And it's a fast break. It wasn't even like an unforced turn. It was like, oh, the defense just pressured him. And no, he just couldn't catch.
Yeah.
Not on the move. Standing still. Basic 4-year-old on their hand.
But you get to the other side of the court. And like, man, I've never seen a dude poke the ball out of guys' hands.
From behind?
It doesn't matter it doesn't matter who has the ball or where it is. He's getting the low ones. He's blocking them from behind, poking it out. He's just like constant. And the hand-eye coordination for that has to be incredible. It doesn't make sense. Or it doesn't, because this is hand-eye coordination.
Did you see the block that he had with JaVale McGee when he jumped? How the hell did he even jump out that? Yes, he jumped out. He jumped so quickly. He said, screw my life. I don't need this body. Jumped up as high as he could, blocked the ball falling backwards. Didn't brace himself.
Oh. I was worried he got hurt.
Yeah. But he still came back. Mitch was down that game, so I guess he felt like he was compelled to come back. But that was like top 10 blocks of the year. He almost died blocking that game.
Yeah, that was like, usually it's like dunks that put people on posters. That was a block that put someone on a poster.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Nah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Nerlens Noel, I don't know, man. That guy's an enigma. The
only thing that could maybe make sense is if he like has the weakest hands in the world. Like just like no hands. So like when he's out there he can get his hand on all the ball, like the ball on defense, but like then he has to grip it. He's like, I can't.
Do you think he has small hands? He's like Trump hands or something?
Maybe small. We could probably go. Yeah, we could probably go look at the like draft measurements or whatever.
Yeah, pterodactyl. What do you call it? Tyrannosaurus Rex hands.
Got some Trump hands. Man.
Shout out to Noel. Had a good game. 6-block game for Nerlens Noel. Kept us in the game defensively. Helped us get the lead back in the third quarter.
Seriously.
Yeah. I need you to do that more consistently, though. I thought he was about to take Mitchell Robinson's starting job for a second. And then I was like, no. Mitch can keep it.
Mitch can keep it.
Mitch can keep it.
That would be making the starting offense somehow even worse if you put Noel in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. Chris Paul made that guy look good, man. I'm telling you, he had a nice year. Chris Paul makes everybody look good. He's like, yeah, that guy's like, hot sauce. Put that on everything. It tastes better.
Chris Paul, he's like my favorite non-Knick. I love watching him play, man.
Me too. I'm not even gonna lie. I was studying him when I was playing ball a bit more because not the smallest, not the tallest or quickest. Everything with him is shifty angles and reading.
Yeah, man.
Chris Paul, man, for sure.
He's got that like grandpa got your nose kind of energy. Like,
got your nose. He's definitely the YMCA got your nose guy.
Yeah, like there's some things he does where like the defenders are just like, what?
Like, huh?
Because you definitely didn't blow by me. Like, how'd you get by me? But he does it.
Exactly.
He's got tricks, man. But they're not flashy. He's got tricks, but it's not flashy.
Not flashy at all. Not flashy at all.
I love it.
All right, yeah. Shoot. Well, thanks for dropping by, Dallas. I'm putting this up ASAP Rocky. It will be up today.
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you for talking. Knicks, definitely gonna have you on the program some more. Should have some content coming out. Future. So watch out for that. Knicks Nation. All right. So, let them know where they can find you, Dallas.
I once in a while I write some stuff for the Strictland. Sometimes I tweet from their account too. I guess our account. It's we got that going. So follow the Strictland, and then at Dallas Amico _ is my personal handle where I'm at more frequently. So.
All right, cool. And you know where to find us, man. You can find us at The KOT Show on Twitter, The Knick of Time Show on Instagram, Knick of Time Show on Facebook. Also find us on theknickoftimeshow.com, right? You can see our blogs. You can see the merch. We got Kevin Knox merch, It's getting hot right now for Kevin Knox. You might want to pick that up.
Yeah.
Might want to pick that up. Wasn't popular last year when I made it. This year might be different, all right? You got Kevin Knox merch and more. Probably do some more KOT hats coming soon. Definitely look out for that. And yeah, that's it. Shout out to all the guys. Shout out to all the writers too. Rob, Mikey, Ken, Jeff, Ryan G, who's also in the pod. Shout out to Edson. Shout out to Kathy. Shout out to everybody. It's KOT Squad, Fritz. Shout out to everybody who contributes to the KOT Nation, man, and helping everything go strong. Man. Shout out to you guys. And shout out to Dallas, of course. Of course. Coming on the show. We'll have you many more times. All right? So that is our show. Tune in next time. We're going to be doing these recaps a lot more often. So definitely check us out. All right? Peace.
New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.